Hello and welcome to another episode of the Messy Show podcast. Katie, you could have
There's
counted
some
me
mess
down. That was
already.
dirty. There's already some
You
mess.
can start whenever you wanna talk, I'm just recording. You
But
can choose. You could take 20 minutes. I mean,
see,
according to Zencastr, maybe we not, but
that's messed up. You could normally it counts me down, so now I just feel like crazy. Anyway, you got something to say?
no,
No.
everyone's just listening. This is your world. You
I'm just
have
making sure.
Oh, you know what? You're doing great.
Thank you. I can't. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I hate Katie. Katie is one of the bane of my existence. I don't know why I work with her. I don't know why I keep doing shows with her. She's terrible. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, welcome to another episode of the Messy Show. We have a great guest with you. We have Chanel Ali, somebody who I think is hilarious and really great. Welcome to the show, Chanel.
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. It's good to be here. Can't wait to get messy.
Love that. Now, y'all probably can't see Chanel unless this is like the YouTube, but Chanel is like looking really good. I like the hair up, the hoops. Normally, hoop earrings are confrontational, but they seem friendly today.
But yeah,
So,
they're thin. They're big, but they're thin.
Yeah, I like them. I love a hoop.
I know. If I was like, I don't feel like I have hoop energy, but if I did, if I could pull them off, I would try to do that.
Sounds like a dare, and I will order some for you tonight.
And you know,
Sounds like
my ears
you,
are
my
not even
love.
pierced. Like I don't have any, like I don't have anything in my ears. I've
Doesn't
never
even
had
matter. I
my.
saw Parent Trap, and I'm ready, baby.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so why don't you let everybody know a little bit about you and whatever that may be for those who don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like everybody knows, so it's like this is
Hey
the awkward
guys,
portion of the recording.
I'll do it right away. Hey guys, I'm Chanel Ali. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm from Philadelphia. I live in New York City. I've been in New York about 6 years now. I could
Okay.
dunk on any person at any time. I often choose not to. And I'm 5'6", but I feel 5'7" a lot. Mostly.
That's great.
I like that.
That's
Yeah.
great. My mother's 5'2", so you're taller than what I'm used to.
Wow.
Um,
I
I know,
have
and I'm
the
like six
same
foot five. I'm huge, and my mother's like so
Yeah.
tiny.
Wow. It's weird when we only
You
meet comedians like virtually sometimes, and then when we meet them in real life, like over the pandemic, I kept doing online shows with this comedian Gianmarco Cerezi,
Mhm.
and I
Oh
just thought
yeah,
he
yeah.
I just thought he looked like such a tiny little guy, and he's like six
He's
four.
tall.
And so then the first
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
in real life when he walked up to me, he was like, "Hey," I was like, "Yo, back the fuck up! Like I don't even know you. Who are you?" You know? And he like walked away, and then he came back and he said, "What's up again?" I was like, "Yo, bro, like I'm about to fuck you." Oh snap! You're that comedian.
Like I know
You're like,
you.
"Oh, you're my friend."
Because like
Well, most people's
there's not like a gang of very tall comedians. So immediately I was like, I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know you. Don't come over here.
most people when they first see me, I think Katie can attest to this, is that people mostly think, "Damn, that nigga big as hell." So I'm sure you would probably think that about me.
We yeah.
Um,
We went to the grocery store together. Do you remember when we went to the store and like
I
every
remember.
it was like we were living in the Truman Show where I was like, "Are they testing us? Like what
Wow.
is happening right now?" Because we would walk down an aisle and just we're in a conversation. Like we are not looking outward in any way. We are having a conversation and people would interrupt our conversation to be like, "Oh, wow, do you want to help me get those chips off the top shelf?"
What is
And then
wrong
like
with people?
I don't and it happened like 8 times, and I was like, "I
Chanel,
hate this. I hate this, and it's
Chanel,
been 5 minutes."
it happens to me every time I go to the grocery store. I help every little old lady. I'm cool with it. I like the older black women though because they know they don't even really have to ask. They'll just like point. They'll just look at me and like point, and I'll do it. But it's always like that. People think when you big, people think that you work for them.
But
Like they really do.
do you guys also feel like sometimes when you're a comedian and something is happening in a public space that is causing people to interact in ways they usually wouldn't, people are always trying to riff and they just fail? Because I feel like that
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
I'm just like, oh, something is happening, and all these people are gonna comment on him, and it's gonna be bottom of the barrel jokes.
It's like something bonkers happens, and
Yeah.
people are like, "Mondays, am I
Chanel's like, I have
right?" And you're
standards.
like, No, just stop it.
Everybody,
She's like, I don't yes and bullshit, so I'm gonna ignore
everybody could
this.
do it, you know? Like, it's just insane.
What did that woman say? Some woman did say something. She was trying to be funny. What did she say? She said,
The
oh my
one,
god.
so that was what I was gonna say. Is some people were doing the shelf thing, which I was like, all right, fine, we're next to a shelf. But then like other people are like, don't hit your head. Ah,
Yeah,
what a
there you
great
go.
guy. Like,
It's
and it was just
crazy.
like, what are you doing right now?
And what did I do? What did I do every time, Katie?
He laughed. You
I
went right
laughed.
along with it. He was like,
Yep,
It's also
and
because
I
like
was
we
like,
know how to fill space, so we know what they're expecting, and then that also makes us
exactly,
laugh. So it's like I'm
well,
laughing at you expecting my laughter now.
yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Like you said that. You said
And
what? He said that. He
then,
just said it out of his mouth, and he thought we were all gonna look at this guy.
and I was like, he's like laughing, and I'm like, okay, are you done? I have to finish my sentence. Like, and that wasn't funny.
Katie's grossed out. She's like, "Ew, what's going on in this?"
Yeah. It's like, oh, you say that out loud?
But
Like, you're
well,
proud of
we
that?
were near Katie's house. We were near Katie's house. You have to keep in mind this is like a house in like this neighborhood in Massachusetts, which is very white, very upscale. I am like the
It's the
biggest, blackest thing in the thing.
McAllisters. It's the McAllister's neighborhood is what it looks like, the Massachusetts
Yeah, it's
version
very
of that.
bougie.
And then
Nice.
every Friday they have a Black Lives Matter rally. They've had it for the past since 2020. Every single Friday, rain, snow, these old ass white people get out on their corners and they have a Black Lives Matter mini rally
Wow.
um every fucking Friday. And it's very, very adorable. But I also
That
am like,
sounds
they
like
were
trolling. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I
I'm not
well, they
said she
stopped
should take me. I
emphasizing.
was like, I should go as a special guest, like do a
Just
type
make
You
five.
sure.
came
Just
to
like
you went
We
to
need to
the
have
grocery
quality
store as a
control.
special guest.
We need to have quality
we
control.
Every time
that's
we
right.
drive by, my boyfriend and I are like, "Oh, that's so cute. When do you think they're gonna meet their first black person?"
Any day now.
I'm
Any
gonna
day.
go, but like
But
I was
I
also
feel
like
like go
dressed
ahead.
so inappropriately. I was like
You
very
were
queerly dressed. I was wearing hoochie daddy shorts up to my damn the top of my thigh. I was wearing
yeah,
a
this had
tank
nothing to
top.
do with black or white. This was slutty, not slutty. Like, and he was like, "It's hot out and it's hot in
It
here."
was hot.
And
I
you
think you
were
would have pushed
wearing like
somebody in Massachusetts would have went over the edge and been like, see, now this is what I was saying before. Y'all said I was wrong. And they're gonna come in here with their hip hop.
Hmm.
but the neighborhood was like I told Quinn, I go, does this happen to you all the time? Because it feels like they're being overly nice and it's making me uncomfortable. And he was like, no,
As long
this
as I'm
is
happy.
every store for me.
Let me tell you something about white people. They love big black men as long as they happy. As long as I'm laughing, I am I am welcome at their table. It is all good.
I
They
think
were like,
it might be a sliding scale too. It's like they either want you to be really happy or they want you to be like sad but calm, like Green Mile sad.
like
Inner
you're supposed
You
to
turmoil.
gotta be.
be.
It's either or those. Anything in between, like angry or like frustrated. They're like, no, 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 thank you, no, thank you.
They're like, we
That's
know you're
true.
upset, and they either want you to be like, we know you're upset, and you're handling it so well.
Mm.
Here's a piece of cheese, or they want you to be like, I'm. They want you to just be making them laugh or laughing at their jokes. But in that store, I truly was like, are these people being overtly nice? Like,
Mm.
this feels weird. And he's
I'm
like,
telling you,
no, this
everybody
is
loves a
what
happy big
happens in
black
the
man.
store.
And then once I hit 60, boom, wise.
Well,
I mean,
also, I feel like there's like a certain level of trust you have to have when you're dating like a really big guy. Because it always reminds me of, you remember that movie of Mice and Men?
Yes.
Where she's like, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. And he's like,
first of all, that's gonna kill me right now. Thinking about that movie. Second of all, I watched that movie as like a 13-year-old, and just in case anybody was wondering, I was about 6'2" then. I was
Oh,
always
little tiny guy.
I was always like big like that, and that part always because like I am always careful. Like I didn't wrestle when I was like that age because like I used to hurt somebody every single time. Because you know
I
boys play
bet.
wrestling. And I will hurt somebody every time, and I got this complex about it. So I'm actually pretty gentle.
Thank
But
goodness. Because you know Lenny. Lenny couldn't stop.
Lenny, yeah.
Lenny could not stop.
She's like, I don't want to feel like that little girl from the Frankenstein movie.
And I also often like find myself saying the exact sentence that she said in Of Mice and Men, where she's like, "Don't mess it up," and then
Oh
I'll
my
be
god,
like,
I
"Dang, I'm
can't.
saying it. I'm saying it."
I can't. Oh, that's gonna be stuck in my head forever.
It is though.
Oh
Like
boy.
if you, because I guess Josh is big, but he looks. My boyfriend is 6 foot, so next to like every man in New England, he appears very tall. But then
Mm.
Quinn comes over, and I'm like, he looks so little right now, and I don't know why that like 4 inches makes a huge difference, but it makes him look tiny. Like
That's all we
He
have.
like he has to look up a little. He has to look up a little bit when he talks to me. It's a power
just
trip.
a
Like when a man
little,
has to like look
yeah.
up
He's
a
got
little
to look
bit.
up a little.
I recently got catfished by a guy on like Hinge. We matched, and his profile said he was 6'2", and we started texting. And he like brought it up. He was like, "Yeah, I'm 6'2". How tall are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm 5'6", but I feel like 5'7". You know, I did the bit from earlier. And
Yeah.
then we got on the phone, and as soon as I heard his voice, I was like 5'9"
You
for
know.
sure.
Yeah.
I could hear picture frames not hung where they should have been, and like dust on
Top
the
shelves
curtains.
unused.
Dust on the curtain, because it's like when you see a guy for the first time and you match with him, you can't like tape measure, but if you could check the top of his curtains and some things around his house, and you'll know.
I,
That's true.
okay,
That's absolutely true.
here's
Like look at when he takes pictures. Look at where the doorknob is. That's how
Mm-hmm.
you know.
I do that.
I'd be like,
Because
"Oh, what type of iPhone do you have?
you're right.
How long is it?"
Because your hands
Send
look
me,
tiny.
yeah, send me a picture of your hand next to your
Is that a
iPhone.
plus or a pro? I don't
He has
know.
an
Like
iPhone Mini.
Yeah,
He
what
has
is
an
that?
iPhone Mini, and his hand
What
looks huge.
what year did that iPhone come out? I want to just find out like how many
my,
inches it is.
that happened to my friend. That happened to my friend. He was like, I thought he was taller than that. He showed me the picture. I was like, bro, I was like, look at where that doorknob hits him. It hits him like in his lower like back, like near his belly button. He is not tall. Like if you don't have to,
I
like I have difficulty washing dishes because I have to bend over into the sink. Brooms are anti-tall people. Do you know how you have to scooch over to sweep? I look stupid. I
Oh
look
yeah, I
ridiculous
bet.
trying to sweep my house.
Mm.
I've had a
Well,
problem
that's because it's
where,
also sexist because they make brooms women's size. So I'm just gonna say that too.
all
Women's
right, well, we
size.
gotta get some big
How
rooms.
are we supposed to ride them if they're too big?
Don't mess it up. The same way
Use
you don't
your
mess it
head,
up.
Quinn.
It
I
was
had like a guy.
really the inflection, and she said it. The way she was like, "Don't mess it up." It was such a warning, but also she was so scared.
It was foreshadowing. I have to watch that
Yeah,
now. I
Oh,
haven't seen it in so long. He sure did.
but then
He
like,
sure did
okay,
mess it up.
a couple of things. I had a guy that was a little guy like that too, and I was like, I think he's a little guy.
mm.
And then I had my friends involved, and like, because I was like, guys, figure this out, because usually you can tell if they stand next to one. I was almost gonna say normal sized guy, but
You cannot say that. That is mean. I've been
one
called out
Well,
on social
you
media
did
for
say
talking
tall
you
about
did
short
say
man.
it,
men.
so
I recognize
It
my
happened.
height privilege. I don't.
But I
No, I won't be a part of that.
you can normally tell if you see a guy and then he's next to another guy, because you're like, all right, well, that other guy is not 7 feet tall, so he's gotta be like whatever. But this one guy, we did like an investigative, like unsolved mysteries and level investigation, because every group he was like around the same height, and I was like, I think this is a little guy gang. Like
oh
I
my
think.
gosh, they were
And
all
then my friend,
they're
yeah, and
working
my friend was like, he
together.
was little.
They're working together to trick us.
Yeah.
The
I was like,
undercooked
it's a group
American.
effort.
Wow. I don't.
But here's
I don't think about height like that. But
I mean, I'm
You
much
don't,
mm,
because
pickier,
you do the same thing when you don't think about being hot.
but
This
in
is
the
what Quinn
same way,
does. He just,
I can say like, oh, I usually don't date guys that are shorter than me or like around 5'6", 5'7". I'm much pickier about tall guys, and like if you're 6'6" and you have on a crazy jacket, I can't really. We can't be out here like this. Like, you gonna be?
That's a lot of real estate.
How you gonna be big and profound? Like you got
Yeah.
how many statements?
You can't wear everything.
Do you
You
feel like
can't
that,
wear
Quinn? Like
everything.
you have to blend in?
I mean, I try to, first of all, buying clothes is hard, period, because somebody decided a long time ago that you were either tall and thin or short and fat. So
Yeah.
that's already a problem for me. Because God made me tall and fat. So besides that, it's like some things just don't look good on you. Like, I like flannel, but that's a lot of fabric. If I put on a flannel jacket,
They don't have no shape. No.
that turns into hopscotch for little girls. Like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't agree with that. And then you have big and tall stores, but that's like clothing segregation. So I'm not really involved in that. I just get clothes that are
We don't.
normal.
We're not.
I will stretch out.
We're not talking Jim
I
Crow
will.
stores anymore. You know.
It is. It's oppressive. It's oppressive. I will stretch out some normal size clothing. But no, you can't wear it. You cannot wear everything. You could like a little man can put on something that just looks so cute. Like you see how like little men wear slacks and stuff. And they put on those little slacks. They just look adorable. The
Yeah.
little pants,
Ah,
little fitted pants.
if I was a little man
Nope.
hearing you say this right now, I'd hate it. I'm like,
That's
I'm not adorable.
literally,
I am
yeah,
I'm a
adorable.
big boy.
I took
I
the
was
bus
just
by
thinking.
myself.
I don't know. I
You
think it's
saying
cute.
that sounds like you want to boop him on the nose afterwards. You're like,
I'm like,
boop,
oh,
so cute.
it's okay, Polly Pocket. It's okay. Um, I was raised by a mother who was very anti-tall woman, so that's something I fight with every day. My
Mm.
mother was very mean to tall women.
Wow.
Like,
So
what did she do? Like, she just
She
doesn't like
tripped them, obviously.
she ran around outside of their line sight.
she just always has something to say about tall women. And my father's side of the family, like my grandmother is 6 foot, so his sisters and my grandmother were all tall women, 6 foot at least. And she just said they look like men. Like she was terrible about it. She just
Mm.
my aunt Deborah, she's probably about 6'1". She used to wear a clutch purse. And my mother had jokes for days about her wearing that clutch purse. She was like, it looked like a football. Like she just would go in on it. It was very problematic. But I realized that I internalized a lot of
Oh,
that. And I always preferred like smaller women when
That's
I
a
did that.
very specific insult. Like if I was a tall lady and I walked by somebody else and they were like, "You look like Patrick Ewing," I'd be like, "What the fuck? How you gonna tell me I look like a tall man? How you? That is crazy.
okay.
That
My
is-
boyfriend did that to me because I wore maroon workout shorts, like spandex shorts, and a black top, and he's like, "Hey, you look like a little bit like the old timey football uniform," and I go, "What the fuck did you just say?" I was like, "Are you trying to die today?"
He's like, "Could you go change it to something that makes you a little bit less like a left tackle? Thanks."
Yeah, exactly. He was like, "No, it's cute," and I was like, "No, we're done with this
you should have just tackled
conversation."
him. You know, I would have took him down.
Just go ahead. No, my mother's a beast. My mother, I've told you, my mother's a former gang leader. She's from Detroit, so that's like the Midwest Philadelphia.
Mhm. Mhm. The
So she's a
craziest
rough little
man
lady.
I ever dated was from Detroit, for sure.
Ooh, I believe it. East side or west side? No, I'm just kidding. That's one.
I don't remember, but I know he would come from wherever to try to find me. So
That sounds like the west side. I'm from the east side. Oh god, that's so funny. Yeah, big people. It's not easy being big. You all are normal sized people, so you don't understand. That's okay.
But I think that
Um,
I'm big. So I went to
Katie, you're
every
not big.
year. I know, but every year I go to the doctor and they're like, "Okay, you're 5'5", and I'm like, "Just check again," because I always feel like I'm taller than everybody, taller and bigger, and I'm like, "Really not 5'8"? Are you sure?"
yeah, because
And
That's
that's
because you
like,
half Irish and cut off that Mexican. That's why you
yeah.
did you
feel.
guys have people come to your school when you were little and they like measured you and they told you like, oh, when you grow up, you're gonna be a tall nurse or something?
No.
'Cause we had a lady come to our school and like literally measure us in the fourth grade and tell everybody exactly how tall that we were gonna be. And I'll never forget, she told me 5'7".
Wow.
And I'm 34 and 5'6". So if I catch this
Mhm.
lady on the street, it's hands. She's getting,
She owes you an inch.
She
do your
cursed you.
job, lady.
That sounds like you had like a fortune teller come. Like,
I wonder what her qualifications were. She's like, I'm really good at measuring things.
you right?
That seems like a bogus. That's like phrenology. What is this bogus science that they're exposing
That's what I
kids to?
mean.
Maybe
Like,
Republicans are right. What is going on in those
what
schools?
are
What are
these
they
public
talking
schools? What are they using our tax dollars for?
about? She didn't even have like a tape measure. She just kept stacking rulers. It's like, how is this? This is
She
That
just
doesn't even
like
sound
waved
efficient.
her hand around your aura and she was like, okay, you're gonna have 2 husbands
The
and you're
yeah,
gonna be 5'5".
yeah.
schools, schools will have the most random people come. I remember this one lady came to teach us how to make butter. I'm like, why do I need to know how to do this?
That is
How do you
random.
It
make
was
it?
delicious though.
You guys, oh,
It's
so
like
you
you
did
take the
make
milk.
that at school?
We actually made it. We churned it. We did the whole thing. Like she brought everything there for us to do.
Mm.
And then when it was all over, we took our little butter, we spread it on crackers and little pieces of bread, and we ate our butter. And to be fair, it's the
Wow.
most delicious butter I have ever had in my life.
Wow, that's
Don't remember how to
Okay.
do it though.
I dated somebody from Alabama and we went to pick up her little cousin from school and we went into the classroom and the kids were getting taught like different types of farm cows, like, and not like, ooh, moo cow, but more like, this is like a blah blah blah
Jersey
cow.
cow.
This cow creates milk. This cow is for meat. And I walked in and I was like, okay, there is a huge discrepancy in public education systems because, like, why in New York are they learning long division and down here they are learning types of cows? It's like,
Wait
crazy.
a minute. Those cows that are used just for eating? I thought once the milk dried up,
yeah.
they just killed them.
No, there's like specific a cow that starts with an H is like for meat. And then there's a dairy cow and that so there's like beef cows and dairy cows. And there's two different types of cows.
Oh.
I'm
But
so
see, I've
happy
known this for 5 years and I've never used
you
it.
didn't teach us this.
No,
Exactly.
I didn't.
I was like, up north, they're not showing us that. Like, we're doing math.
I didn't have that. When we used, I remember having old most town stars come to my schools and sing to us badly because their voices were all shot. That
Really?
happened
Oh,
in
Oh,
yeah, that would
Detroit.
make sense,
because
I guess.
Detroit, yeah. The Motown
Yeah.
Museum is like
I've had
my favorites.
I've had Martha Reeves come to my class and screech at me.
Mm,
May she rest. She's a very nice lady, but her voice was gone.
Wow.
that sounds like a lot.
Oh,
Losing
Detroit's
her.
crazy. I had to deny Aretha Franklin her charge at the mall when I was working there. Detroit's a
Really?
wild place. She was very nice about it. She paid in cash.
Well, when I lived in Philadelphia, I worked at the airport, and Terrence Howard came through one day, and I worked in this
Ooh.
section where I would like take somebody's luggage behind a little whatever and check it in the machine. But there was like this one-way glass or like two-way glass, I don't know, whatever it is where they can't see you, and
Mhm.
he
Two
thought
way.
it was, yeah, two-way. So he thought it was a mirror, and so he's just like in it, checking himself
All
out.
those eyes and
Yeah, and I'm like looking at
Yeah.
him, and I'm like searching his bag, and he's like, he's like looking, and I'm looking, and then he starts digging in his nose real aggressively, and then just like checks himself out, and I was like, your bag's good, you can just. Really good.
now
And then
aggressively. Is this a little picking like, or is
no,
this
he
like
he was
white
getting
person at a
knuckle deep.
stoplight
He
going
was
for
getting
it?
knuckle deep,
Wow.
really in there, and I'll never forget his bag. It was a huge suitcase that he was like checking. I had to search it. It had 2 pairs of underwear in it.
That's
Oh.
it.
That's it.
Wow.
Like a huge rolling
That
bag,
sounds
like
like me.
something that was like 80 pounds,
He's
and
on
he
his
was like,
way.
"Yeah, let's go.
But all
Time
He's
he
to
on
had
his
shoot
way
was
to
two
another,
spring
pairs.
break.
time to shoot another movie, baby."
So Terrence Howard free balls.
That's a man with
Well,
You better hope
that's
that's
a
what
man
it
with
is.
plans.
I hope that
Yeah.
is. I hope that that's
Yeah,
what it is.
he might not be.
That's hilarious. He's
Oh
the
my
one that they had
god.
that rumor going around where he like uses baby wipes, right? Isn't that him? They call
Oh,
him
I didn't
baby
hear about
wipes.
that.
I didn't know that.
He doesn't use toilet paper. He uses baby wipes, and I
Oh.
don't think there's anything wrong with that. I know plenty of gay men who do it, but unfortunately, he let straight black men find out that he does that, and they
Mm.
have never shut up about it.
Well, he just needs
Because
more
they
Arab friends, really, because they'll be like, "Good on you."
I mean, I think it's smart. It's
well, I
soft. It
lived
gets
with a gay man, and they weren't baby wipes, they were actual like toilet wipes. And I
Mm.
was like, let me investigate this. And I was like, this does, I was like, this does feel like way more luxurious than crusty, dry toilet paper.
Gay men treat gay men treat their booties, their holes, as delicately as I would assume women treat their vaginas. They
You
are
Well,
gotta
that's
do
very
it.
what
You gotta do
that's
it.
what my reasoning was. I was like, he would know better than I do what is good for someone's butt. And then I was like, this is great.
I do remember having to teach men though in my life, like, hey, some of this toilet paper I just can't. Like, hey,
Yeah.
this is a little too
like you
rough.
and I are doing a thing, and I can tell that you like my vagina and you want it to be happy. Can you spend another $1.75 so
Because
Can
that
I
we're gonna
get
need
one more
at
layer?
minimum cottonelle.
I need?
Cottonelle at
Yeah.
minimum.
I'm gonna need a couple ply at least.
One other layer,
You know,
please.
'cause I want to be in a good mood. You know.
You're like, I'm
Oh
not
god.
working on a woodworking project down here. I
Yeah.
need something soft.
But I do remember like explaining that to a guy, like, "Hey, every time I come over here, it's rough." Rough.
When I met my boyfriend, he had 2 spoons and 2 forks and 2 knives. And I go, what the fuck? How do you only have 2 things? And he goes, well, yeah, in case I have someone over. Oh
Only
no.
one
I also
person
have
would be there
two
besides
hands.
him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way men are. Like people, like you go, like that's what it's weird because like everybody has that joke about like you go to a Top's house and it's like nothing but a bed, like a mattress on the floor, a big TV. But then like that's what I like. Like if you go and you hang out, like you travel to like a bottom's house, which is like women, most
Yeah.
women. It's like done. It's like
Yeah.
sheets on the bed.
Mm.
There's stuff there just for decoration to show like personality and expression. It's it's nice.
Now, see, I lived with three
Men
gay
don't
guys.
think that.
I lived with three gay guys once because I had like bad roommate situations in New York City, and I was just so convinced like this was gonna be the end of all my problems. Like, what could go wrong? And so
Oh, Chanel.
one
Chanel
of
for me.
them was a very tall basketball player who used to walk around in a pink robe. That was great. I loved that. The other one was like constantly meeting guys on Grinder and then inviting them over in the middle of the night. And one day
Yep.
he woke up and the guy was gone and like had taken all of his money and his cell phone and like his computer, like wiped him out clean. And so he basically accused me of stealing the stuff. He was like, "Well, I don't know if he took it for sure. I just woke up and he's gone." And I was like, "Well, did you call? Did you call him?" He's like, "Oh, he blocked me." And I was like, "What?"
You're like, oh, then it's definitely my fault.
Okay. And so he's like, "Well, I have to go to work and I just don't know, but like I called the cops and they'll be here soon. Bye." And so then so then the cops show up and they're like, "Hey, what happened?" And your roommate is saying like, "Maybe you took his stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, maybe it was me, but also maybe it was the stranger from the internet that he no longer can contact. I don't know. It just seems
Could
strange that
be.
I'd steal his money
We
and
might need to get Jessica Fletcher in here to figure this one
Yeah.
out
you know,
because
NYPD, I don't want to do your job, but don't mess it up because you're gonna have me fucked up out here.
that is
That is
that is exactly what I would expect from living in a house full of gay men.
Yes.
First of all,
Yeah.
and that's why when I was in that situation, I always traveled. I don't bring anybody back. I will
mm,
go, and that way you can leave when you want to leave, and you don't have to deal with that.
I am so respectful of
But
roommates. I just never make a
you
mess.
should be.
I stay in
yeah.
hotels plenty to make a mess. We can argue all day on FaceTime, but I'm not gonna bring a mess home. I'm just not.
Exactly. That's oh god. That's so. Roommates are like roommates in New York City specifically
Yeah.
have put me off roommates ever again in my life. Like I wish I could have a separate residence from my spouse because of what happened with me and roommates. Like that's how bad it is.
Yeah, I don't
Like
know.
they will take you through it. It is
It's a
the
lot.
not cleaning, the sluts.
I just remembered this. I had a roommate and she was dating this guy, and she was okay. She was just like nothing wrong roommate wise, but just like she was very obsessed with her friend coming out as a lesbian, but the friend hadn't come out. She was just like, I think she is. And we were like, all right, well, just let her tell you then. Like, just how does this affect your life? Whatever. And so that was like, I'm like, I don't know, I'm a little turned off about her personality or whatever. But then I went to bed and she had this boyfriend, and he was like this quiet, like music teacher, intellectual type of guy who like wasn't very nice, but like wasn't mean or nice, just very like bland a little bit. And
Mr.
we
Holland's
all
Opus type.
kind of, yeah, like, and a little like patronizing here and there. And so he got drunk, and then I went to bed. Like, we all got drunk and we all went out to the bar, and then we all go home, and it was me and my ex, and I rolled over because I felt my ex behind me, like put like I felt an arm on me, and then I turned and there was another person in front of me, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I woke up, and her boyfriend had gotten into our bed and was spooning me. And I woke up and I go, "What the fuck?" And I was like, get up." And he was like, "Oh, what?" Like, he was so drunk, but he had also in his blackoutness been able to knock over a glass of water and then fix it and set it upright, which I guess you could do if you were blacked out.
Mm.
But literally, I was like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, get up." And then he just got up and was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And then goes back into the other room, and my roommate is like naked on the bed, like passed out sleeping. And I was like, "What the fuck is going on in this house right now?" Like, this apartment.
Were you drinking dark
And
liquor? I don't know.
I don't know. You'd have to have so much tequila for me to leave a bedroom that I was in, obviously doing something, and then enter another bedroom pretty far away from that bedroom. And I told her, and I was like, "This is very weird. Like, you need to look into this." And I ended up having to put a lock on the inside of my
Oh
room
yeah.
so that I could lock it, because I was like, I'm not waking up to another fucking person. And I kept telling her, like, "You got to say something to your boyfriend. Like, that's fucking weird." And he just didn't seem that drunk. You know what I mean? Like, to be able to like knock stuff over and then pick it back up very quietly. I was like, I don't know, this
Mhm.
is all very, very weird. And she never said a word to him about it. Like, she just wouldn't acknowledge it. And I was just like, we have to talk about how I woke up with your boyfriend spooning me. Like, we
You're like,
need
I
to.
don't want to talk about it, but we have
Yeah.
to. So
Yeah.
And
Like,
she's like, I'd rather talk about this girl coming out of the closet. That's the real
yeah,
issue here. Is she a
exactly.
lesbian?
it's like I don't
Yeah.
have time for that right now, girl.
Yeah. I'm just
I'm
like,
trying
I'm in
to
the
out
middle of
this
a
lesbian.
yeah, I'm in the middle of a big case here.
It's not a good time for you and your possible assault. I just don't have
Yeah, exactly.
She didn't have the bandwidth.
Oh,
time.
I was like, I've totally forgot about that until you just said that. And I was like, oh my God, yeah,
That's a
roommates do
crazy thing.
stuff.
How, first of all, how you were already in bed with somebody and somebody
Yes.
got into bed with y'all and y'all neither one of y'all knew that?
That's what woke me up. Like, because he got into the bed and like put his arm around. So I thought that was my
Oh.
ex. And because I was also drunk. So like I was asleep, and
Okay.
then like
There
I
it
got
is.
woken.
Everybody was drunk.
Everybody was drunk, but I got woken up
Okay.
by this person entering the bed, and I was like, "Oh, they must have got up to go to the bathroom." And then I look, and there's a head in front of me,
And
and
there's
that
the
was
head
very
and
scary because I was like, "Okay, well, who's the person behind me then? 'Cause what the fuck?"
and
And
that's
then I
how
was
Katie ended up in bed with two men accidentally.
What she tells the story all the time.
yeah,
I mean, I call that Tuesday.
It was such a. I was just like, Are you gonna talk to him?" And she was like, "That is weird." And I'm like, talk to it. And then like another time he got drunk. Oh, this also like he had also like peed in her room
Nice.
drunk. So I was just like, this
Hmm.
person is a fucking nightmare. Like, so after the bed thing, I was like, we have to talk about when he's allowed here, because I don't think he's good at being drunk. So
Yeah. I can
No, I
use
take
those
it
minutes,
back. That's
please.
not.
gotta go to his place.
That's not Mr. Holland's opus.
Yeah.
That is not Richard Dreyfuss. He is not Richard
No,
Dreyfuss.
Richard Dreyfuss would
No,
never.
he would
But
not.
it's always been a fantasy of mine, like with consent, to have two guys. And you know they made that I guess it's like a almost like a biopic of Marilyn Monroe, but it's kind of like a stylized, fictionalized,
Yes.
whatever. And it got so much negative criticism because they were like they were treating her like she was nothing. They were having sex with her over here and over there. They were throwing her around, and I was like, yeah, that was crazy. Those two guys were really into her a lot at the same time.
Now we see how Chanel ended up living with 3 gay men.
Yeah,
I
she
get
was
it.
like, I'm just saying,
You know, I
like,
think I got friends.
Like
I got friends.
you're like, but have you tried it?
You know, I'm pretty tall for a lady.
I mean, hey.
I'm almost 5'6".
I haven't seen that. I like Marilyn Monroe stuff. I think we're all kind of fascinated by her, and she's been dead for how long now? Like
I know.
60 years?
Yeah, a long time.
Like it's been a long time. Like I wonder when we're gonna like let go of Marilyn Monroe and Elvis. Like when is that gonna be like done?
I
Like
don't
are we
think
gonna?
so.
I think there's
I
also
just
like
don't.
that era of Hollywood where a lot of like suspicious deaths have sealed documents or like sealed tapes. I don't know about you, but I am counting the days until the FBI releases those Martin Luther King Jr. tapes.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
Let me
yeah.
tell you how often I check
Because
for it. I feel sick.
because you
I'm like,
well,
what
first
is
of all,
wrong with you?
I
Why do you want to hear this so badly?
I want to hear it too because I saw a picture of him after he'd been shot. I had never seen that before.
Oh,
Like I'd always all my life
Oh, I
heard
never saw
about.
that. Yeah.
Yes, there's like I saw an actual picture of him like blood like dead, and I was like, of all the time I've heard about his assassination, I've never seen any pictures or anything. So that really got me going. And then like I think I read or heard something that like his cause of death wasn't a gunshot; it was like suffocation or something.
Mm,
And it's like
Oh.
come like so yeah, I'm with you on that. And I love to fall down a YouTube hole
yeah.
all the time. Like I will start off watching I don't know old episodes of Alf, and then I'll end up watching like the LBJ tapes where he's like threatening senators to get his work done. If
Mhm.
you haven't listened to that, that's really interesting stuff to listen to.
I remember
There's
when,
this.
like last year, when all the serial killer, that white guy, what's his name, Dahmer.
Which one?
Everybody,
Yeah.
when
Oh
Dahmer
God,
came out, everybody
There's
was
like so
so hyped.
many.
Everybody kept asking me like, "Have you seen this one scene, or have you seen the scene in the courtroom where everybody's testifying?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, but I saw the real one." And they were like, "What?"
oh YouTube,
And
yep.
I was like, "Oh yeah, I watched those like years ago." You didn't watch that whole court case? You didn't watch all of the no?
Hmm.
You didn't watch all the witness impacts? You didn't watch those years ago before they?
That's the beauty
Hmm.
of YouTube. You can watch an entire like that Chris Watts, the guy who killed his family.
Oh yeah.
You can literally watch that case from when the body cam of the cop shows up to the house looking for his wife, all the way through the interrogation and into the
And
sentencing.
they show you
It's
her
chef's
text
kiss.
messages the day before when she was texting her friend
All of
like,
that.
"Yo, I feel like this dude's cheating on me. I don't know.
He's
I'm gonna
weird.
confront him
Yeah.
when I get home." And then she got home, didn't text no more. Come on.
I mean, yeah.
There isn't that crazy what a man will do instead of just going through a bad divorce?
Yeah.
Like, what?
That
Oh,
definitely
this
takes
reminds me. Speaking of men not planning for the future, when a guy lies about his height, what is his plan? Because eventually you have to meet in person.
Yeah.
People catfish. Like people just
They
catfish.
do,
Like
yeah.
people slide into my DMs all the time saying like, "Oh, I thought we were gonna meet up," and I'm like, "I have no idea who you are." Somebody will
Mm.
take my pictures
Ah,
and pretend to be
Oh,
me,
hmm.
and then like people will
really?
like DM me angry, like you a comedian and you talking to me like that. Wow, that's wild. I'm like, bro, I
I
have no
use
idea who you
I
are.
use that same excuse all the time. I didn't know you use it too. Where I'm like, "Wait, that's not me.
That's not me.
I would never use Tinder. I'm
You
like
weren't talking to me.
I'm like a
Yeah,
personality. I can't just be out here. Come on."
I'm on Raya.
That's actually smart. I should do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Deniability.
that's on
Plausible
my
Now
to-do
you
deniability.
have
list
to
Love
of
go
that.
back out
to-dos.
there.
Yeah, this is on my
You
to-do
start.
list.
You start using your own picture, Quinn.
So I use my own picture and just oh, that's not me.
Yeah.
But then like I don't know, like ever since I watched that, what was that Netflix show about that football player who got catfished by that
Oh yeah,
trans
yeah,
woman?
That was
yeah.
really
Now I don't.
crazy.
I'm like, well, people, there doesn't have to be an ending to the catfishing. You can like, there was
Go.
staging and acting
Yeah.
involved.
I mean, that I did say that woman should have got. She should get some voice acting jobs out of that. Just the clips of her voicemails and being able to be like 5 different people with. I was like, that's a top tier performance, and I think we
And
need to
coming up
reward
with
the
it, she should be
theatrics.
writing for Ryan Murphy. Shit.
I know.
And I called the catfish out before because they were like, oh, they didn't have an iPhone. So they were like, oh, we can't FaceTime. And I was like, oh, it's okay. What are you doing? You chilling at home? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, cool. Can you go on Instagram right now? I'm going to FaceTime you on there right now. Go on there right now.
He's like, my internet's bad.
He legit said, he was like, I would, but I have like classified work documents here and I'm not really loud. I was like, you crazy boy. You almost got me. You were texting me a lot, but I see what it is now. He was like, no, it's just confidential documents. I was like, it's confidentially a catfish.
Are you gonna hold them up to the camera? Like, what are you talking about?
How confidential could it be
like,
that you can't move?
He's like, I would, but my whole wall is decorated with pictures of you, so I can't actually have that.
You got a map
with the red with the red strings going from from Philadelphia to New York City to.
I'm sitting sewing a doll of you, so I couldn't.
I'm knitting your hair and I can't put it down, so I'm so sorry.
Crazy.
If they made one of those maps of mine, it would just be my house to Five Guys.
Oh my God, Katie and Five Guys. You eat so much Five Guys. And it's incredible that you find time to eat Five Guys knowing how much pizza your ass eat. I've never seen anybody eat as much pizza as Katie Arroyo.
I love
Jesus.
Five Guys is so overpriced.
It's a little.
It is overpriced.
But okay, this is my problem though. Five Guys, I would say, is overpriced. However, in the DoorDash universe, if you just go to the Five Guys website, their fees are so much lower than like other places.
Yeah.
So it ends up being cheaper. But yeah.
It's a good burger, but it's like I feel like it's like Shake Shack. Like I could order from Shake Shack to my house, but I feel it's so overpriced. Like I literally turn into my mother. Like I could have made this at home. Like I literally feel that way. And if I feel that way, as lazy as I am, it's expensive.
Well, see, I feel like that about Shake Shack because I feel like their fries are fine, but they're like frozen French fries. Like I'm like, oh,
they need cheese. You got to get the cheese on them.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Five Guys, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna cut up a motherfucking potato, so I'll give them that one. Shake Shack,
they give
I'm
you
like,
they cut up like 13 potatoes. I've never seen a place give you so many fries.
I know.
Yeah, they give you like a whole bag of fries. Like no matter if you get a small, they're like whole bag. Got it.
Whole bag. It's like a whole bag of potatoes.
Perfect.
I'm like, you must weigh so many potatoes.
Yeah, it's a lot of potatoes. That's my
because I'm one of those people. When the burger's done, I'm done with the fries. They go in the trash.
Usually, yeah.
Now I want Five Guys. Thanks, Katie.
Like, I ripped the bag open, get it.
I was like, "Oh, you guys have fries left? That's cool."
You guys have OCD.
Like leftover fries. What is that? Some kind of urban legend?
Yeah. What are those? I've been leaving fries though. I will say I've been better about it.
What was that? I remember that it was like some kind of medication you could take, and they were like, take this medication and then just leave a little bit of food on your plate and you'll lose all this weight. I cannot remember the name of that drug, but I never forget like all those. It was like all these like plus size women who were like really happy.
Oh, maybe. Oh, I think so, because it wasn't it like this little friend will help you.
Yeah,
we're an ally, like that kind of thing.
So. Yeah, something like that. And I just remember like all these like plus size women pushing away like a small portion of their food in their plate and looking happy. And I'm like, the last bite is the best part of the meal.
I do remember when
Yeah.
I was young, there was a Food Network show with some lady who I can't remember. I don't remember the name of the show, but her whole thing was like, I cook stuff, but show you how to like, also like not become overweight. And she made this like pizza, and she was like, if you take a quarter slice of a pizza off of every slice of pizza, at the end of the year, you will have avoided eating basically a whole pizza. And I was like, you are sad.
That is not worth
Your
it.
whole life is in shambles,
No.
and I just watched you do that on national television. You just cut a quarter of a tiny. It was, and the piece that she left on the plate. I would never eat with that person again. If I watched them do that in front of me, if I
Like,
watched
eat
them
that damn
slice
piece.
this and then leave it
Yeah.
there, I would be like, get the fuck out of my house.
Anybody who eats pizza with a fork and a knife has a problem anyway.
To begin with.
But Katie, if you did that, you would be like not eating probably like 10 pizzas with the amount of pizza that you eat if you cut pizza off like that.
Well,
She's like, I would have
yeah,
a lot
but
of slices.
this is what I would do, okay? I would take those slivers and then I would weave them into a pizza blanket and then I would eat that pizza.
And you
You know
cuddle
what?
it.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you how fat I am. Here's what I think you should do with those slices. I
What?
think you should take those quarter pieces of pizza, and I think you
Uh-huh.
should store them in like this jar, like a plastic container, and then you should sprinkle oregano and Parmesan cheese on them, and let them build up, and you can eat them shit like chips. That's what I think you should
That
do
does
with
sound
those
pretty
pieces.
good.
Even worse, I remember when she was introducing the idea, she was like, I actually learned this from my uncle when I was a little girl. I was like, your uncle was calling you fat. That's
Yeah.
he was being mean to you. And this
Your uncle was a
Yeah.
stuff.
piece of shit.
And now you're trying to
Let
Yeah.
push
the
it
little
off
girl
on
eat
us.
pizza.
I'm not in your family.
Yeah, don't call me fat. I'm good. We're not related.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
I
Oh,
think
that's
that
so
is funny
rude.
that they used to make like eating disorders like a fun TV show on Food Network.
Yeah,
They were like,
totally did.
if you eat 3 almonds, you actually, anytime you're hungry, just chug 24 ounces of water and you'll find that you don't have room for food in your stomach. And we'd be like, oh my God, what a good
I
recipe.
even saw one where they were like, you're actually not hungry. I was like, what?
Oh no, they sound like my doctor. My
What?
doctor, it's okay to be
They
hungry
were like, if
sometimes.
you,
What?
if you just tried to like not eat until you heard your stomach growl, do you know how long it takes for your stomach to growl sometimes?
Hours.
Days sometimes. Days I go and my stomach is quiet.
No, I'm too greedy for that. Like I perfected and how to make things even more fattening. Like even if I'm not eating more, I find a way. Like my favorite way to eat a cupcake: slice that bitch in half, put the bottom on the top, and eat it like a sandwich. Like you have to
Oh,
Innovate.
enjoy it. Hey,
that is I can't believe I never thought of that because I would slice. This is my fatty way. It would be slice it, and then I eat the bottom quickly with little enjoyment, and then I eat the top
mm-mm.
as a celebration.
Turn it into a sandwich. That's what
Yeah,
you
that's a
do.
good
Anytime,
idea.
You don't love cupcakes.
anytime I'm sitting
Guess
down to
not.
eat something that's like, considered quote unquote unhealthy, and I'm thinking like, man, I don't really need these extra calories or whatever, whatever. I just think every skinny bitch who's famous and rich has been cheated on. So I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat
Yeah,
if I want. I'm gonna keep balance, but I'm not gonna deny myself thinking that it's gonna be some other rainbow on the other side. You're gonna get it doesn't
exactly.
fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter.
You're just as
That's so
miserable,
true.
but you're also hungry.
Well,
Like,
that girl
Hangry.
Emrata, that girl cheated on. So
That's true.
eat the cupcake,
That
baby.
is so true.
Eat the cupcake.
yeah,
Eat the cupcake. Have to
yeah,
sometimes. And
make it
I
into a
guess
sandwich.
that's of course always make it into a sandwich. Always. Like that's
When in
don't
doubt.
that way you're not wasting any of the frosting. You don't have to deal with eating a dry piece of that because there's never enough frosting on the bottom of that thing. That's how I came up with this as a kid. I didn't like that. So just go ahead and make it a sandwich and do it.
It's a good idea.
I'm good at two things. I'm really good at TV. Like I'm so good at TV. Like that is a gift of mine. And also food. Like
Mm,
I'm blessed when it
hell
comes to
yeah.
food. Um,
Hashtag
I
blessed.
I mean, oh, um, I'm just feeling myself right here. But
Yeah.
this was so much fun. Thank you, Chanel, for coming on and talking to us about all this ridiculousness. I don't even know what we talked about, but I
Yeah.
know it was
We
fun.
talked
Absolutely.
about a bunch of stuff, but what? I don't know.
Honestly, thank you for letting me just go.
Love
Thanks for
it.
going. We appreciate. We love your go.
Hell yeah.
We do. This is so much fun. So let everybody know where they can follow you and all your hilariousness.
You guys can follow me on Instagram at Chanel Ali. That's Chanel like the perfume, Ali like Muhammad. You can also go to my website, chanelali.com, to find out where I'm going to be joking. I'm going to be in San Francisco February 4th for Sketchfest. I'll be in LA for a
Yes.
while, Denver end of February, other places too. Come laugh with me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Come laugh with Chanel. It's gonna be a good time. And Katie, do you want to let people know where they can submit their messy questions and submissions to us? Because
Yes.
I can't remember.
That's great. If you have here's a question for one of our guests, or if you have a messy story you want to share with us, you can email us at messyshowpod@gmail.com. You can also DM us on all the social medias at messyshowpod. And you can also DM us on our personal Instagram. And send us your messy stories. Send us your messy questions. We'll solve all of your problems for you, or just tell you how to make cupcakes better. Like whatever you need us to do, we can do
Whatever
that.
you want. We want to hear it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Bless this mess.
Bless this mess.
All right. We'll
Don't
see you
mess it
guys next
up.
time. Don't mess it up. I'm watching that damn movie. Don't mess it up.
Don't mess it up.
Y'all take
I'm
care now.
gonna
See
start.
ya.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna start saying that to Quinn every time he loses his mind at the beginning of an episode.
That, you know I'm a man. I'm doing the best I can, Katie.
We'll see you next week, guys. Bye bye.
I'm doing the best I can with this public school education. Leave me alone.